Dr. Lena Carter was the only survivor of the failed mission to Mars. She had been in the orbiting module when the landing craft crashed on the surface, killing her 5 crewmates. She had tried to contact Earth, but there was no response. She checked the onboard computer and saw that the communication system was damaged by a solar flare. She was alone, with no hope of rescue. She decided to record her final message and send it to Earth, hoping that someone would eventually receive it. She activated the camera and spoke into the microphone. "Hello, this is Dr. Lena Carter, commander of the Mars 1 mission. If you are watching this, then you know that our mission was a failure. We encountered a severe dust storm during our descent and lost control of the landing craft. It crashed on the surface, killing everyone on board. I was in the orbiting module and I witnessed the whole thing. It was horrible." She paused and wiped a tear from her eye. "I don't know if anyone can hear me, but I want to say that I'm sorry. I'm sorry for leaving you behind, for wasting your time and money, for disappointing you. I know you had high hopes for this mission, for humanity's future on Mars. But it was not meant to be." She took a deep breath and continued. "I don't have much time left. The orbiting module is running out of power and oxygen. I estimate that I have about an hour before I suffocate. There is nothing I can do to save myself. I have accepted my fate." She smiled sadly and looked at the camera. "I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, for believing in me, for supporting me. You have been my family, my friends, my colleagues. You have made my life meaningful and worthwhile. I love you all." She reached for a picture of her husband and daughter and held it close to her chest. "I especially want to say goodbye to my husband, Mark, and my daughter, Lily. You are the most important people in my life. You are my everything. I love you more than words can say. I'm sorry I won't be coming home to you. Please don't be sad for me. Remember me as I was, happy and proud to be part of this mission. Remember me as I loved you, with all my heart and soul." She kissed the picture and placed it on the console. "I guess this is it. This is my last transmission. Goodbye, Earth. Goodbye, humanity. Goodbye, Mark and Lily. I love you." She turned off the camera and closed her eyes. She waited for death to come. She opened her eyes. She was lying on a bed in a white room. She felt a sharp pain in her head. She looked around and saw a man in a lab coat standing next to her. "Hello, Dr. Carter," he said with a smile. "Who are you?" "Where am I?" she asked, confused. "You are in our facility," he said. "What facility? What are you talking about?" He sighed and shook his head. "Dr. Carter, you have been part of an experiment. A simulation of a Mars mission." "A simulation? What do you mean?" He explained that she had been selected as a test subject for a project funded by a private corporation that wanted to explore the feasibility of colonizing Mars. They wanted to see how humans would cope with the psychological and physical challenges of such a mission, he said. "So they put me in a virtual reality?" "Yes, they did." "For how long?" 6 months. 6 months? You mean I've been living in a fake world for 6 months? "Yes, you have." She felt a surge of anger and disbelief. "Why? Why did you do this to me? How could you?" He shrugged. "It was part of the contract. You agreed to participate in exchange for a large sum of money." "I did?" "Yes, you did." He showed her a document with her signature on it. She looked at it and felt a pang of regret. "I don't remember signing this," she said. "That's because we erased your memory before we started the simulation," he said. "You erased my memory?" "Yes, we did." "Why?" "To make it more realistic." She felt sick and nauseous. "What about my husband and daughter? Do they exist?" He shook his head. "No, they don't." "They don't?" "No, they don't." He showed her another document with pictures of actors who played her husband and daughter in the simulation. "They were part of the scenario," he said. "They were fake?" Yes, they were fake. She felt a wave of grief and despair. So everything I experienced was fake? The mission, the crewmates, the crash, the message? Yes, everything was fake. She felt tears streaming down her face. Then what was the point of it all? What did you learn from this experiment? He smiled and handed her a tablet. We learned a lot, Dr. Carter. We learned about your personality, your behavior, your emotions, your reactions. We learned about your strengths and weaknesses, your hopes and fears, your dreams and nightmares. We learned about what makes you human. She looked at the tablet and saw a graph with numbers and symbols. She didn't understand any of it. She threw the tablet on the floor and screamed. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. He pressed a button and two men in white suits entered the room. They grabbed her arms and dragged her out of the bed. She struggled and kicked, but they were too strong for her. They carried her to a door that said exit. She saw a sign that said, thank you for your participation. She saw a camera that flashed. She heard a voice that said, end of simulation. She felt a shock in her head. She blacked out.